Yeah, Sega hotline. Is Since Spacies there? Just tell him the top loader called. What do you mean he's busy? Doing what? A YouTube channel? Yes? No, I did not get my mother's permission. It just hung up on me. See, that's the difference between Sega and Nintendo. The Nintendo hotline would have just kept taking my money.
Since Spacies.
G'day, Brian here from Since Spacies with a new segment that I thought I'd kick off on the channel called Spacies Spin. So what this is going to be about is news items that caught my attention throughout the week and basically just talking about it, what I think about what's happened, and if you feel like you've got to come back at me with a comment, down there, comment down below. I'm going to try and do this on a once a week basis. And, you know, I might start off a little bit rough, but we'll see how this works out, and hopefully I'll get better at it. And if it becomes popular enough, I might do it more often than once a week. So we're going to start off. The very first item that caught my attention is Sega of Europe screwing up Alex Kidd's name. You know, like, come on guys. They put out a tweet, I'll put it up there, basically acknowledging the work of Reiko Kodama, and I'm so sorry, speaking of pronunciations, if I got that wrong, but she was basically the one that was heading up many games such as Phantasy Star 4, Alex Kidd in Enchanted Castle, and she also, from memory, I think she was doing Phantasy Star 2, but quite a big name in the gaming scene back in the late 80s and early 90s. And they gave her an interview about her proudest moments. Now, the fact that they got this name wrong is not a big deal, except it highlights a couple of things in my opinion. It highlights the difference between Sega and Nintendo. Nintendo would never, at least to my knowledge, screw up the name of, unless you guys can point out an example down below, but from my memory, I don't recall them ever really messing up the name of a character from their past when they're talking about their back catalogue. They respect and honour and treasure and cherish their back catalogue in a way that Sega just does not, and I would really like Sega to get their IP from the past and acknowledge it and treasure it and actually put out some more games for today's generation, because a lot of those games were actually really good. They just need to be put on a new HD platform and given to today's generation. I don't know, that's just my, I'm biased, I'm an ex-Sega staff member, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. And again, I understand it was perhaps just a typo, or I've done plenty of mistakes when I put out tweets, but this is an official social media account for a major distributor of video games in video game culture. I just don't see why they would make such a mistake. So maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. What do you guys think? I just think that maybe they should be a little bit more careful and acknowledge and treasure their past. But that's just my 2 cents worth. Anyway, moving right along. Also this week we got Final Fantasy VII Remake footage come out. The trailer, the preview trailer. It was about 2.5 minutes long. Amazing detail. Like, it's got me so pumped up. I can't wait for this. Apparently, from what I can see of it, it's only going to be featuring the first disc. So 1/3 of the game. I don't know how they're going to progress ahead with the game and releasing it, but from what I could see of everything that they've shown so far, it all takes place on the first disc of the game. I'm sure they'll do some announcements closer towards release. More will be revealed. They've kind of kept very close to the storyline. They've changed a few things up, given obviously Cloud and Tifa a voice. Something I'm not really a fan of. The voices themselves, a little too cheesy. Now most people when they're playing this, they're going to stick to the Japanese voice dubbing. I am personally a fan of English voice dubs if done right. And I think maybe when people go to the Japanese voice dubs, they like it simply because they can't quite catch on to if the Japanese voice dubs are not done right, because they don't understand what's being said anyway. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play it in English. I don't know if Tifa's voice is the one that bugs me the most. Maybe if she could not put on so much of a ham voice, it's a bit cheesy. That's just my 2 cents worth. Yeah. We'll see. But otherwise, the game looks awesome. I cannot wait. What they've done with the game looks amazing. And there's been so many, little details shown with the game and what they're going to be highlighting. The mini games that they're going to be also including in this new version look amazing. We'll see what it's like, but it's interesting to see a turn-based game become something different but keep the same storyline. So it's like getting an old story and turning it into a totally different beast. It's not going to sit well with everyone, but you can't dispute the fact that it looks amazing. Also in the news this week is Billy Mitchell, everyone's favorite villain in video gaming history. Now, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with him personally. I don't know him obviously myself, but he's kind of, I feel like, a necessary evil. But I don't know, like, he's been accused of cheating, and also the evidence against him is quite convincing, and he has not come back with a successful counter argument to prove that he was not in fact cheating. So for those of you who don't know, there's a documentary called King of Kong, and it is a partial truth, a little bit played up and hammed up for the cameras, and it is really a awesome documentary to watch. So if you're even if you're not into video games, you could show this to someone who's not a gamer and they can get something out of this show. And Billy, it comes across as just a real plain evil son of a bitch. Like, let's just call it what it is. And he is being accused of cheating in the past. He's had his records stripped. Now he's in the middle of suing Twin Galaxies and Guinness, as in the Guinness Book of Records. He wants them to retract their statements saying that he got his records through the means of cheating. And he wants them to retract that statement, and he's given them 14 days to come up with a response. So this is not over yet. I don't know, Billy has also in the past tried to sue YouTubers for trying to go into this, so I'm going to be very careful in what I say. I'm only acknowledging what I've seen on the YouTubes myself so far. But let's just say that he's got an expression that Billy Mitchell always has a plan. I think that's what he says. Billy Mitchell always has a plan. Yeah, I think it's a plan at this stage just to stay in social media. It's just sad to see an obviously talented gamer. Like, there's no denying it. The guy does have talent. Some of those scores that were retracted on the Twin Galaxies website, he did get legitimately. He got them in front of a crowd of people, and there's no getting away from the fact that he was the first person to get a perfect score in Pac-Man. It's just sad that he's felt the need to, and this is allegedly, of course, but he's allegedly felt the need to stay relevant in social media and do what's necessary to get those scores up on that website. So it is kind of sad that Billy Mitchell has ended up this way, but I guess if you watch the documentary, you're not surprised. So we'll be seeing what happens and what becomes of that court case. The 14 days, I think, began about a week back, or not in the last week or so. So watch this space. So today I was at Ubisoft's Experience event in Sydney, and it was pretty good. It was awesome. It was a $20 entry fee, and they showcased on a 2-floor little expo just the different games they've got coming out. They've got things coming out such as Beyond Good and Evil 2. That looks amazing, by the way. And Watch Dogs Legions. I think those two, from what I've seen, were the biggest and most ambitious titles that they've got going at the moment. But the game that got my attention, and you're gonna laugh, was Roller Champions. Now this was a game where it's kind of like if you were to get Rocket League and cross it with Roller Derby, then you've got Roller Champions, sorry. So it's basically inline skating, and you've got a ball and you're going around on a circular stadium, and you've got to try and smack the other guys out to get that ball and score goals. Sounds like they're on paper, but when you're playing it, it is kind of fun. However, the version that we got to play at the event was a beta. They were calling it an alpha. Whatever, it's not complete. That's what they're trying to say. And it didn't have a lot of music, which I think they'll probably add in afterwards. There wasn't enough fanfare to celebrate goals, etc. So I got a feeling that, well, I'm hoping, because I've seen this in the past where I play an incomplete game and I feel like, oh, I'm hoping they add this and this and this in, and then none of that gets entered in. So we'll wait and see what the finished product of that is like. But Roller Champions is looking like it's a pretty fun game. I also got to meet up with Lucas and Snoogs from Aussie Gamers Experience, and they had a bit of fun. It was interesting to see Lucas try and take on Trails Experience. I think it's Trails Experience, you know, the motorbike game that Ubisoft have released. That's one of those games, you love it so much, but you get infuriated and you want to chuck it because it's so challenging. It was fun watching him try and take on a high score. He had real high hopes of getting that time, and yeah, didn't quite get there. Got a bit of footage I'll play for you right now from the event. My takeaway though from it was pretty much like I said, that Roller Champions game. Ubisoft is one of these companies where I don't hate them and I don't absolutely love them. They're just kind of there. And I know that sounds not really all that great to say things like that about them, but I'm not a massive Assassin's Creed fan. I do have a box set of Assassin's Creed Origins sitting up there staring back at me. I have not even touched the game. One day I will get to it. Ubisoft is just one of these game companies that I feel like are capable of so much more, and I feel like that something's just holding them back. I don't quite know what it is, can't put my finger on it, but for me I just feel like I don't know if they take enough risks, and I think that's probably what it is. So we'll see what their new range of games are coming out, whether or not they will. I do have to say that their new Watch Dogs game, they've at least been persistent with that IP, and although a lot of people they like to poo-poo on the Watch Dogs franchise, but it is a playable series. It's just that the first game that came out didn't have a very likable protagonist, and I think that kind of hurt them moving forward. Plus you had that whole fiasco with the Watch Dogs demo when that first came out, but I think that's been long enough now in the past to kind of forget it and move on. But yeah, Ubisoft are a company I'd like to see achieve more. I just want to see them do it. So we've just got to sit back and wait to see how that goes. Anyway, we have got a competition. Now this is the very first competition that I've ever hosted on the channel. And the people at AK Racing have reached out to me and are offering for first prize, a AK Racing floor mat, AK Racing mouse pad, and also an AK Racing footrest. Now I've got one of these footrests and they are legit. They are really good. And I use it basically to not step on the cords that I've got down there below. So definitely a good prize. We've also got a runners-up prize of just the footrest itself. So what do you need to do to enter? Now this is only open to Australian entrants. I'm so sorry, but we're only able to get the prize out to Aussies here in Australia, that is. And the prize, to win the prize, I want you to send me your setup, rate my setup. So I want you to send me a photo of your gaming setup. Here's the catch though, the worst one will win. So I want you guys to send me your worst game setup. Now keep it safe for work. I won't publish anything that's got anything lewd or whatever. You can email it to me at Since Spacies spacies@gmail.com, or you can just simply tweet it to me or post it on my Facebook page. So rate my setup. The entries will close on, I had the date here, the 5th of October at 5 p.m. So that's Australian Eastern Standard Time. So get those entries in. Can't wait to see what you clowns send in. Anyway, that's been my wrap up for the very first episode of Spacies Spin. I don't know, trying something different here. I hope that we get some more news articles going forward that will make this a really interesting segment moving on. And my name has been Brian, and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks, guys.
Since Spacies.